Mike Parallax film reflection of the Hellraiser Series Part 3. In this one I'm gonna cover Inferno and Hellworld. Inferno, I didn't even know of this film's existence until I walked into a Blockbuster on one rare day when I had money and came across a pre-owned VHS copy of it. Bought it home. Brought it home to the Y where I was living at the time. This was after we were evicted, and I was lucky because I was a student at a junior college, so my guidance counselor wrote a note for me, so I was able to go live at the Y instead of getting on the waiting list, and I didn't have to be homeless. All right, moving on. This was the first Hellraiser movie that I could watch with the closed caption so I can hear it all and see it all the first time I saw it. Watching it on my 19-inch Magnavox TV that I bought with my first job, with my first paycheck back in 1994. And discovered closed captioning, and the world of vocabulary opened up for me. Anyways, I was blown away at the awesomely perplexed story. I mean, the length this guy goes to avoid admitting guilt. This is the first one where, this is also the first Hellraiser movie in the series where Pinhead is basically a messenger of evil. Much like a Grim Reaper-like character in this film and all the films going forward from this point, pretty much. Craig Schieffer plays the guy, shady LA detective. That's putting it nicely. But this character, rather than own up to his own sin, he goes on this self-induced wild goose chase to find a killer, conveniently ignorant to the fact that it is he himself who is the said killer, both literally and figuratively. You know, he doesn't literally kill his wife and daughter, but he does, through neglect, and he does figuratively kill him. And I think that's actually an ongoing theme throughout the Hellraiser series, especially from here going forward. The concept of death doesn't necessarily mean a physical death, as more of a spiritual death, I guess. This is the one I talked about this one a little bit in depth in my video at my visit with my sister, but a while back. But yeah, it's the one where he's looking for the killer, and the killer is leaving a child's finger at every crime scene. And through forensics, they're able to figure out that although he's severing the fingers of this child, the child is still alive after all these murders. So that's his driving force while he's ignorant to his own sin. But if I haven't said already, spoiler alert. Basically, it's the child is himself, and the child represents his own innocence that he is one by one killing. Neglecting his wife and daughter, backstabbing his partner, killing a prostitute. So, but at the very end of this one, some of my favorite lines, again from the Pinhead character, is when he's still in denial. Oh, I don't understand. Pinhead lays it on the line. Oh, the eternal refrain of humanity, pleading ignorance, begging for mercy. Help me, I don't understand. Your flesh is killing your spirit. That's some of the best lines from that movie in the Hellraiser series. Hellraiser Inferno. Like I said, Craig Schaefer is the guy in that one. Oh, Nicholas Turturro is in that one too, from NYPD Blues. All right, that brings me to Hellworld, which came out actually quite a few years after Inferno. At this point, I'm just going to share the movies in the order that I personally saw them, because from this point, honestly, I don't know the correct order. I mean, I guess I could do some research if I figure it out. But for my intent and purpose of my video, I'm just going to share the movies in the order that I've seen them. Oddly enough, I found out about this movie, Hellworld, because my father gave a VHS copy of it to another family member with instructions to give to me. I recall him saying when he I inquired to him about it. Yeah, it's the newest one. Okay, so basically, Hellworld is a kind of spoof of itself. The actor, popular actor in it, Lance Henriksen from Alien is in it. Yeah, he's a pretty well established actor. He plays the father of the story, known only to the kids as the host. It's basically takes place in a world of Hellraiser fans. That's why I say it's a spoof of itself. Where one of the fans commits suicide, the kid of this father, who is only known as the host of the party he holds for the kids. His son is a Hellraiser fan, and he blames his son being a Hellraiser fan on committing suicide, disregarding his own sins against the son. How convenient. Funny how people do that. These kids in the story, obviously, at the very least, of legal drinking age anyways, but they act like I did when I was a kid, between the ages of 10 and 14. It's so cool! But the father creates this online game. That's how he invites or lures the kids to this party to plot his revenge. This might be an interesting perspective. This movie, the Pinhead character does not seem like, although played by Doug Bradley, he does not seem like the Pinhead we, as Hellraiser fans, have come to know in the series. Pinhead does not aimlessly kill and maim. He always has a purpose for doing so. But especially the kill scene seems out of place, some of them. Especially the decapitation scene. Now, in the behind the scenes, I actually did learn that they had a casting of that actor's head, and so they just had to get a decapitation in there. It was a financial reason. Whoops. But that only showcases good business sense. I mean, hey, you gotta cut corners sometimes, you know. But the kill scene, especially the decapitation scene, just seems off base. Not in tune with the Pinhead we in the real world have come to know in real life as fans of Hellraiser. But I believe this was intentional on the part of the storytellers. I could be wrong, but... So the father, known only as the host to the kids, lures the kids to a party via an internet game called Hellworld. That's a play on the Hellraiser lore. That's why I say it's a spoof. With the intent of using their love of Hellraiser to drug, manipulate, and punish them. As, you know, for his son's obsession with Hellraiser. That makes him kill himself. Which the dad blames that rather than his own sins against his son. because, of course, it is the Hellraiser Series' fault and not his own sin against his son. The father sets up a party of anonymous debauchery, which at this point in the story is mainly in these kids' minds. Because at this point he's got them drugged and buried with pipelines so they can still breathe underground in boxed coffins. His efforts is to get them to die of fear. Is basically to get them to die of fear. But I did want to point out that the degree of insanity the father must possess going through all of this just to deny his own sinful nature. I'm just saying it's food for thought, folks. At one point, the host tells one of the guys, my son was very passionate about Hellworld. And maybe it's just me, but I found myself wondering if the filmmakers of this one had to pay a fee for every time the word Hellraiser was used. I don't know, it's just could be in my head. The Hellraiser, the dialogue from the Pinhead character in this one is pretty much same old, mediocre until the very end. And there's actually a line from the Pinhead character worth mentioning. In some ways, the host in this story is like the Democratic Party in the real world. He plays on these kids' fear and guilt to get his self-righteous revenge, disregarding his own ills. Pretty much like the Democratic Party's been doing to we the people for the past 70 years. Sorry, I turn political without really trying from time to time. The story does come together okay at the end for one who believes in the human mind, that the human mind has some sort of telekinesis powers, specifically one of the characters. But dear old Dad does finally succumb to the truth about himself, opens the box, and Pinhead and his Cenobite minions come to kill him, and that's the one and only line from Pinhead worth mentioning, because this is when you probably see Pinhead for the first time in the film in his traditional glory as a character. How's that for a wake-up call? Yeah, that's probably the best one-liner in this one. Like Pinhead's way of saying, guess what, Dad? You were not the ideal parent you think you were.